In the depths of our being there lies a force, ancient and untamed, that stirs within us, a force that defies conformity and seeks its own path. This force is the soul, and its rebellion is not an act of defiance, but a call to authenticity. The soul's rebellion is not against the world, but against the constraints we place upon it. It is a revolt against the masks we wear, the roles we play, and the identities we adopt to fit into societal molds. In this rebellion, the soul seeks to reclaim its true essence, to express itself in its raw, unfiltered form. But this rebellion is not without its challenges. The unconscious mind, with its repressed desires and unresolved conflicts, often stands in the way. These hidden aspects of the psyche, if left unaddressed, can manifest as neuroses, anxieties, and inner turmoil. Yet, it is through confronting these shadows that the soul finds its liberation. Jung, The journey of individuation is the path the soul takes to integrate these unconscious elements, to reconcile the fragmented parts of the self, and to achieve wholeness. It is a process of self-discovery, of peeling away the layers of conditioning to reveal the core of our being. In this journey we encounter our shadow, the aspects of ourselves we deny or reject. Embracing the shadow is not an easy task, for it requires us to face the parts of ourselves we deem undesirable. Yet it is only by acknowledging and integrating these aspects that we can achieve true self-realization. In the quiet recesses of the psyche, the soul stirs, and it is here that rebellion begins, not as an act of defiance against others, but as a necessary upheaval within oneself. It is the soul's subtle insistence on authenticity, a whisper that refuses to be silenced by the demands of conformity. Often we move through life wearing masks, performing roles assigned by society, family, and culture, believing that these facades will shield us from judgment or disappointment. Yet beneath the surface a restlessness grows, a yearning that the conscious mind cannot fully articulate, a dissatisfaction with the mere appearance of life. This is the voice of the soul, urging us to confront the restrictions imposed upon it and to seek its own expression. Rebellion of the soul is intimately tied to the unconscious. In our hidden depths lie desires, fears, and impulses long denied, suppressed, or misunderstood. These are the contents of the shadow, those aspects of ourselves that we are reluctant to acknowledge. Yet the soul's revolt is not complete without confronting this darkness. To ignore it is to live only half a life, to wander through the world in a state of fragmentation. The shadow calls us to awareness, demanding that we reconcile the parts of ourselves we find unsettling or alien. In doing so, the soul begins its work of transformation. The process of individuation is inseparable from this rebellion. It is the gradual integration of conscious and unconscious, the harmonizing of opposites within the psyche. Through this inner struggle, the soul claims its vitality, its depth, and its complexity. We are challenged to see ourselves not only as we wish to be seen, but as we truly are, with all contradictions and complexities intact. It is a labor of courage to acknowledge one's imperfections, one's hidden desires, and one's profound capacity for both darkness and light. Yet this confrontation is precisely what awakens the soul, enabling it to assert its freedom and to resist reduction to mere social conformity. In this upheaval, life takes on a deeper resonance. The soul's rebellion is creative, not merely destructive. It calls forth imagination, intuition, and the capacity for profound insight. It resists the flattening of experience into banal routines and challenges the ego's complacency. By attending to this inner uprising, we enter into dialogue with ourselves, listening to the language of symbols, dreams, and images that reveal truths inaccessible to rational thought alone. The soul demands engagement with life in its fullness, insisting that we honor its mysterious depth rather than suppress it in the service of comfort or safety. Thus, the rebellion of the soul is a journey toward wholeness. It asks us to awaken from the dream of conformity, to embrace our shadows, and to navigate the rich terrain of our inner world with honesty and courage. It is through this very unrest that the soul manifests its strength, its vision, and its capacity for profound realization. The quiet insurgence of the soul is not a mere act of defiance. It is the essential movement toward life's authenticity, a call to encounter oneself fully and to embrace the unfolding mystery within. Beneath the surface of our waking consciousness lies a vast and intricate realm, a hidden expanse that shapes our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in ways we rarely perceive. This realm, often neglected or denied, is not empty but teeming with images, impulses, and memories that have been cast aside, forgotten, or repressed. It is a living matrix, a repository of the experiences that lie beyond the reach of reason, yet exert an inexorable influence upon the life we lead. To ignore this hidden domain is to navigate existence with a blindfold, to act as if the visible world alone governs our being. The unconscious is not a mere storehouse of forgotten events. It is a dynamic and autonomous presence within us. It communicates in symbols, in dreams, and in the sudden surge of intuition that the conscious mind struggles to comprehend. These symbols are not arbitrary. They carry the weight of the collective and the personal, revealing truths that elude ordinary perception. When we dream, when we encounter an inexplicable sense of déjà vu or a sudden insight, we are listening to this undercurrent of life, a voice that speaks in imagery rather than logic, in feeling rather than calculation. Often the unconscious asserts itself in ways that appear disruptive or troubling. Unexplained anxieties, recurring patterns of behavior, or moments of compulsion emerge not as mere accidents, but as expressions of what has been suppressed. These manifestations demand attention, urging the individual to acknowledge the deeper currents that lie beneath the surface of everyday consciousness. To resist them is to invite inner conflict, to live in tension with forces that are essential to the integrity of the psyche. Yet to engage with them is to open a path toward self-knowledge and transformation. The interaction between the conscious and unconscious is a delicate dance. The ego, representing the sphere of deliberate thought and social adaptation, is often tempted to dominate, to impose order upon the wildness of the hidden mind, yet the unconscious refuses to be fully controlled. It reveals its contents through projections, through unexpected encounters with one's own shadow, and through moments of profound insight that arise when the conscious mind steps aside. In recognizing these expressions, we begin to integrate the unseen aspects of ourselves, bridging the chasm between what is known and what has been hidden. The unconscious is thus a source of both challenge and vitality. It contains the seeds of creativity, the wellspring of intuition, and the energies necessary for psychological growth. By engaging with it, by attending to its messages and allowing its influence to inform our conscious life, we awaken to a broader reality, one in which the richness of the psyche can be realized. To honor this inner domain is to acknowledge that the mind is not simply a surface, but a depth, a realm in which the mysteries of existence are lived and experienced, revealing the profound and often hidden dimensions of what it means to be human. The journey toward wholeness is rarely straightforward, for it is a path that winds through the hidden chambers of the psyche, demanding that we confront both light and shadow within ourselves. This process is not imposed from without, but arises from the soul's own impulse toward completeness, a movement that seeks to reconcile the fragmented aspects of our being. We are born into a world that favors conformity, that praises adaptation and suppresses difference, yet within each of us lies a call to authenticity, a need to discover and inhabit the self in its totality. This inner quest requires courage, patience, and a willingness to face what we would rather deny. In the early stages, one often encounters the tension between conscious awareness and the unconscious depths. The ego, accustomed to controlling perception and action, resists the intrusion of unknown forces. Dreams, impulses, and projections may appear as strange or threatening, yet they are guides, signaling the presence of neglected or unacknowledged aspects of the psyche. By attending to these messages, by allowing them to surface without judgment, we begin the delicate task of integrating what was once disowned. This is not a superficial reconciliation, but a profound engagement with the totality of one's inner life, a recognition that even the parts we reject belong to the living fabric of our being. As the journey continues, we confront the shadow, the hidden repository of traits, desires, and fears that the conscious mind has excluded. These elements, though often experienced as discomforting or alien, are essential to our growth. To deny them is to remain fragmented, to live only a portion of our potential. By embracing the shadow, by acknowledging its presence and understanding its significance, we allow the psyche to regain balance and energy. It is through this confrontation that the soul begins to assert its autonomy, guiding the individual towards self-realization rather than social imitation. Alongside the shadow, archetypal forces emerge, shaping the narrative of our inner journey. Figures of wisdom, of heroism, or of transformation appear in imagination, dreams, and intuition, offering insight and direction. These archetypes are not external impositions, but manifestations of the psyche's inherent structure, revealing patterns that transcend personal history, yet speak directly to the individual's experience. To heed their guidance is to participate in a dialogue with the unconscious, to allow its richness to inform the choices and understanding of the conscious mind. Ultimately, this process fosters a living integration of opposites, light and dark, conscious and unconscious, personal and collective. It is not a destination marked by perfection, but a continuous unfolding, an ongoing engagement with the depths of the self. Through this work, one emerges with a sense of inner authority and clarity, a recognition of the unique self within the vast field of existence. Life becomes imbued with meaning, not imposed from outside, but discovered from within, and the individual walks a path aligned with the deepest impulses of the soul. In this way, the journey toward wholeness is the journey of life itself, a profound odyssey in which the psyche, in its entirety, is recognized, honored, and allowed to flourish. Within the depths of the human psyche lies a dimension often feared, denied, or ignored, yet it is indispensable to the fullness of life. This dimension is not a mere collection of faults or sins, but a living presence that embodies those aspects of ourselves we have disowned, suppressed, or failed to acknowledge. The shadow is the repository of what is hidden from conscious awareness, the qualities and impulses that society, upbringing, or personal judgment have deemed unacceptable. It is neither evil nor inherently harmful, yet its neglect can produce inner tension, projection, and conflict, shaping behavior in ways we scarcely understand. Confronting this hidden side is a journey that demands courage, for the shadow often appears in forms we resist. Anger, envy, greed, or vulnerability may emerge, and we are tempted to dismiss or repress them, yet in doing so, we only strengthen their unconscious influence, allowing them to control our thoughts and actions indirectly. The shadow reveals itself not only in our own behaviors, but also in the traits we most vehemently criticize in others, for what we see outside often reflects what we deny within. To engage with it honestly is to begin a dialogue with the unconscious, a process that illuminates the hidden forces shaping our life, The shadow is not a fixed entity, but a dynamic and living presence capable of growth and transformation. When approached with awareness and acceptance, it becomes a source of insight and vitality. The qualities once feared or rejected can be integrated into the conscious personality, enriching it with depth, creativity, and authenticity. Courage and humility are required to embrace the shadow, for it demands that we see ourselves without illusion, that we acknowledge both the light and the darkness within. This confrontation is neither moralistic nor punitive. It is a recognition of the totality of the psyche, an act of wholeness that frees energy long bound by repression. Engagement with the shadow also transforms relationships, for the projections that distort perception diminish as awareness grows. The tendency to blame, envy, or despise others often reflects an unrecognized part of ourselves. By claiming these disowned aspects, the individual begins to see others with greater clarity, empathy, and understanding. The shadow thus becomes a guide, not only to inner life, but to authentic connection with the world, revealing the interplay between personal unconscious and external reality. In its essence, the shadow is both a challenge and a gift. It calls for honesty, courage, and patience, yet it offers a pathway to self-knowledge, inner freedom, and creativity. The process of encountering it is not instantaneous but unfolds gradually through reflection, observation, and the willingness to face discomfort without retreat. By embracing the shadow, the psyche becomes more integrated, life more meaningful, and the individual capable of moving through the world with a richness that stems from acknowledgement of the full spectrum of being. In this hidden realm, the seeds of transformation reside, waiting to be recognized, honored, and brought into the light of conscious awareness. The soul's rebellion is not a destructive force, but a creative one. It is the soul's way of breaking free from the confines of the ego and expressing its true nature. By embracing this rebellion, by confronting our unconscious mind, by undergoing the process of individuation, and by integrating our shadow, we embark on the path to self-actualization. In the words of Jung, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Let us awaken to the truth of our being, let us heed the call of the soul's rebellion, and let us walk the path of self-discovery with courage and authenticity.